Is the JBL clip better sounding? Is there still a place in your home for the On if you have the clip? Honestly, I was kind of shocked when I started doing my tests. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Audio Inside Scoop. Make sure you stay to the very end today, guys, because today's the day. I am announcing our first giveaway, and I'll tell you how to qualify at the end of the video. As for today's content, though, we are going to shift gears a bit here. Basically, what happened was I was walking through Walmart, and I passed by the portable speaker section, and I had a thought. So basically, so far we have compared awesome against awesome here. We got JBL against Klipsch. We're considering throwing Marshall in the near future, maybe some Sony, maybe some Bose. But basically what we're doing is battling to determine which is the best of the best in that tier. Beyond that though, beyond the best of the best, beyond the JBLs, the Sonys, the Bose, the Klipsch's, there is a huge market for speakers of similar size, supposedly similar specifications, supposedly similar quality, but at fractions of the cost. Why is there such a giant price gap though? Are we paying for branding, or is it actually a better product? Now, being an audio enthusiast, I feel like my go-to response is that we pay a little bit more, a lot more in some cases, because it sounds better. There's an assumed quality gap between these products. I personally have always been of the mindset, buy cheap, buy twice, but a lot of times we come to this conclusion without ever hearing or even looking at the other models. I kind of sat in front of that glass for a while, just kind of looking and thinking, what makes this 2 or 3 or even 5 times as much the cost in some cases? I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks about this, and out of genuine curiosity, I decided to create a couple of videos to determine if it's worth it to get the best of the best, or if you should just pick up one of these off-brands or store brands and maybe you'll have a great experience either way. What will it be lacking? How is the overall build quality of these cheaper units? Will it fall apart after minimal use? These are all the questions that run through your head. Will it sound like absolute garbage? And also, if you tend to favor higher tier models, is there still going to be a place in your home for these other products, for these generics or for these store brand models? Let's find out together. Now, for my first in the series, because JBL clip was kind of one of the first videos that I created on this channel, I wanted to start with the clip from JBL. And we're going to compare it to the On small rugged Bluetooth speaker from Walmart. Even at that lower cost though, is it worth the money? Let's go ahead and pop it out of the box and we'll find out together. All right, now let's start with price here, as that is kind of the main purpose of this video, to kind of see how close they can be to each other at such a giant price gap. While you can find the clip for about 50 bucks right now, regular retail sits at $79.95 and the On is just $14.88. That's huge. A little less than 1/5 of the price. Now, why did I choose to compare these at such a big gap? Based on the info that I could find, this model seemed to carry the most similarities to the clip. So, first impressions before even turning it on, honestly, I'm kind of shocked at how solid this thing feels at this price point. I honestly was expecting kind of cheap, rubbery, flimsy kind of feel, but the rubbers used feel more similar to the expensive products, the expensive speakers that you see, and the build quality kind of feels very sturdy, and honestly kind of shocked at that. I was expecting cheap, flimsy, and feels like it's gonna fall apart in your hands kind of style. So that's a good first impression there. Appearance-wise, it looks pretty good, has multiple options to choose from as far as colors go, but not near as many as the clip, but it still should be pretty customizable to fit your lifestyle. Now, appearance out of the way, let's talk about size. The clip is 3.4 by 5.3 by 1.8 inches, which is about 32.5 cubic inches. The On is 2.76 by 4.72 by 2.36, which is a little over 30 cubic inches, so similar in size but different on shape. Also, it's important to note that the clip, we're counting the clip portion itself as space. So we're technically measuring in this empty space here when calculating the cube. So Maybe not a perfect measure, but it kind of gives you an idea of the space that it's going to take up in the room. As for weight, the clip is 0.53 pounds and the on is 0.63 pounds, so fairly similar there as well. As for sound, I would love to dive into on paper sound, but I can't find much on paper about the on. No details on frequency range or max output or really anything at all here. So as such, let's hold off on sound completely until we get to the actual listening portion. So on the battery. They are both rechargeable using an included USB Type-C cable, and both have an estimated playtime of 10 hours. Super similar there as well. Now as for connectivity, they both are Bluetooth speakers. They have Bluetooth capabilities. The clip uses version 5.1, but I honestly can't find anywhere what version the on is on. The on is on. If you happen to know, go ahead and drop me a comment below and help me out here. I would definitely be curious to find out. Next in the connectivity category, the on has an aux port where the clip does not. Additionally, the on has the ability to connect with other on speakers in a broadcast mode. Based on reading the manual, it looks like just one additional, but I could be wrong here. Also, it doesn't specify if it's kind of a stereo pair or what the connection looks like afterwards, so all we know is that it does this in some way or another. I'm gonna do more research and let you guys know what I find out here in the future, but honestly, it's just kind of cool that it has this capability at all, especially in this price point in this tier. The clip, as we've discovered in previous videos, does not have this ability. JBL has a connect mode, but it does not start until you reach the tier of the flip and so forth. So it's awesome that it does that at this product category, at this product tier. Next, let's kind of talk about the ruggedness of both. The clip is IP67 rated, the on is IPX7 rated. Now, we learned what the difference was here in previous videos, but in case you guys missed that, I'll touch on it here again. So basically what's the difference is not really much difference at all. If you're looking for waterproofing, they both have the same 1 meter for 30 minutes resistance. The difference is that with IPX7, the dust proofing has not been tested, whereas with the IP67, it has and is guaranteed against dirt and sand as well. Again, that's not to say that the IPX7 rating won't function identically, it's just to say that it hasn't been tested in that category. If you're looking for a shower or a pool speaker, you're all good on both. That said, if you're taking it to the beach, you may be a little bit more careful with the on and the sand, but honestly, I'm not sure. Could be fine either way. All right, that's pretty much all the specs and everything that I'm gonna go over, but really the question of the day is the JBL, is the clip worth 5 times, a little more than 5 times the cost of the on? Or if you're finding it on sale, is it worth a little more than 3 times the cost of the on? Really, what it's gonna come down to is how it sounds, how it performs in real life scenarios. So I'm gonna go take this outside, I'm gonna take it in a couple different rooms, and we're gonna compare them side by side and get an idea of what they actually sound like. And one quick reminder, guys, in my segments, I do keep my listenings separate from my reviews. So this one is the review style format where I kind of unbox it and tell you guys my thoughts. We're also gonna do a Here With Me segment on it where I'll actually mic the speakers up and you can listen to them. I've done this for every review style video that I've done. So those are gonna be 2 separate videos. The Here With Me segment will be released next week. So hit that subscribe button if you wanted to check these out and listen to them side by side. That said, I'm gonna go do my listenings and I will be back with my thoughts. I'll see you guys soon. All right, I am back and this was an interesting one, guys. Now, I tested these guys in many environments: open doors, outdoors, multiple rooms, shower, woods, and starting with this room. I pulled out the meter here to get some readings with a pink noise generator. As I've said in the past, kind of take these with a grain of salt though. They are good for kind of a localized test for comparing to each other side by side, as the speakers are equal distances from the meter, but this is in no way a lab kind of environment. So don't hold these against the spec sheets and tell me how wrong I am. I know, guys, it is intended for comparison purposes only. Now, next we moved outdoors and kind of on the go. I didn't test these on the four-wheeler as the clip didn't perform well on the four-wheeler, and based on meter readings and hearing it in room, we can assume that the on would do even worse. So we didn't bother testing it while riding the four-wheeler. I did find, however, that the clip did perform a little bit better hooked to the handle as opposed to hooked to the front like I had it before. So if you are using the clip for that, maybe check that out. Still though, anything over about 8 miles an hour, you can't really hear much at all. So anyways, we're gonna jump right into the outdoor listening. Following that, we did various rooms: kitchen, dining room, bedroom, shower, bunch of spots really. And after a few days of playing with these, testing these in various scenarios, I'm finally gonna give my overall opinion and breakdown of why you should go with one or the other in the 4 usual categories: price, lifestyle, connectivity, and sound. And stick around, guys, this ended up being a very interesting compare, to say the least. I was kind of surprised. Now, if price is your primary concern, we already know the On is going to obviously take it here at less than 1/5 of the price. You can even buy 2 and kind of connect them and still come in at less than half the price of the clip. Actually, as a side note here, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can grab a second to connect to them and see how the 2 compare to the clip simultaneously. Like if we throw 2 Ons against 1 clip or anything else, honestly. Like something I've seen in the comments is, hey, should I buy 2 Austins or 1 Nashville, or 2 Flips or 1 Extreme? Maybe this would kind of help clear that up and give a definitive answer on whether 2 of a smaller versus 1 of a larger is the better alternative for you guys. When you're finished watching here, let me know in the comments if you would like to see something like this happen on this or any other products. Any 2 of the linkable speakers versus any 1 more expensive option to compare it to. Maybe interesting with the price gap here to cover that as an option. Kind of hadn't thought about that before, but it might be kind of awesome. As for lifestyle, both are super similar in size and can easily be brought with you almost anywhere. Both actually seem fairly rugged, and both have the same-ish waterproof rating, and both feel very solid in their overall build quality. I was actually super impressed, as I said earlier, with the On. I didn't expect it to be such a decent build quality. With the exception of JBL having way more color customization options, lifestyle is going to be a tie here. Now, as for connectivity, the On is actually going to take the win in this category. Providing the aux port as well as giving the ability to connect and broadcast to other speakers, the On does great here. As for Bluetooth test, I'm still not finding anywhere what the Bluetooth version is for the On, whether it's 5.0, 5.1, 5.3, or anything like that. But within using the product, I didn't notice any dropout at all based on distance, or surprisingly, even in the water test with the bathtub, I dunked them both underwater and kind of held them there. I didn't see either one drop out. So Bluetooth connection is pretty solid. I don't know which version, but it is pretty solid. I actually use music that I could play live on the channel, so I can actually show you guys. Check it out here. Now, lastly, sound. Obviously, this is going to play a huge role in your determination on whether you go with one or the other, and this is why we all tend to lean more towards brand names that we know and trust and we are familiar with their sound profile. But is the JBL clip better sounding? If so, is it a little bit better than the On? Is it a lot better than the On? Is it 5 times the cost better of the On? Is there still a place in your home for the On if you have the clip? Well, guys, real world scenario, honestly, I was kind of shocked when I started doing my tests. When I first start, I typically just throw my testing playlist on shuffle and I kind of let it ride for a bit. And then I come back later and I decide, what have I missed? What do I still need to cover? This time was absolutely no different. I'm going to touch on a couple of specific songs here, but first off, when I pushed play, the first song that came on was Better Now by Post Malone, which is a pretty processed song, but it is a good song and tends to be good for low frequency tests. Now, why was I shocked? Out of the gates, the On was beating the clip here, which I felt that was crazy. The first song that I played, the On was coming out ahead, and as much as I hate Wal-Mart in so many ways, I had to admit that. The On took this song and I actually got super excited. Could we save a bunch of money and go this route all the time? So I click next to try out other tracks, and next, and next, and next, and 20 songs or so later, huge blend of styles from Phil Collins to Pantera, I can say, unfortunately, the On didn't win a single track past that. Now granted, some were significantly closer in contests than others, but for the most part, the clip just tended to blow it away. So, sorry guys, the On is not going to be a cheap alternative for the clip at this time. It just seems to have gotten lucky with that early on track selection on shuffle. Now, I'm not just gonna leave you hanging without telling you why. So With the On, it just kind of seemed like it was, the more processed the song, the better it did. The more natural, the better the recording, the worse it did. Also, it seemed to be very geared towards the kind of bass heady kind of community, and maybe the lows were kind of boosted in order to cover up the lack of clarity in the mids and highs. Who knows? I'm not sure how this was designed and how it was tuned specifically, but that's just kind of the vibe that I was getting and how I felt it sounded in general overall, the different listenings. Now, I tested this all over from very low to very high volume listening, and the On tended to have its best performance in the 50 to 70% range. But once you pushed it past there, it progressively got worse, it progressively deteriorated, and when you got to about 90 to 100% volume, it just kind of fell on its face super hard. Top performance out of the JBL clip came at around 80 to 90% range in my opinion, but even at 100%, it was still sounding pretty great. It also had more output at 100% than the On, as we kind of were able to see earlier in the pink noise tests, but it kind of solidified this through the listenings there. Now, clarity, just overall, lows, mids, highs, all of it sounded better in the JBL, but specifically vocal clarity stood out more than anything else to me. It's like the On didn't really have depth or multi-level clarity or any soundstage whatsoever. You have a speaker that's about 2 inches deep, and it all sounded like the vocals and instruments were all crammed into this 2-inch space and they were just trying to escape. It is a small speaker, so you really can't ask for a huge soundstage here, but for comparison, the clip, I would say, opened up significantly more. It had more depth, it had more soundstage, it had more stereo, I can't say stereo separation because it's not really stereo, it's a mono speaker, but it was a wider stage altogether by a lot, not just by a little bit, by a lot when compared to the On. It was hard to distinguish between instruments or distinguish between vocalists when multiple recorded at the same time as opposed to them just sounding like a blob. This is actually another time when I'm going to bring up a specific track that I played while listening, and that is Down to the River to Pray by Alison Krauss. If you haven't heard this track, it's definitely one you should put on your testing playlist if you kind of test speakers quite a bit, or if you're just looking to see how one sounds versus the other back at home. Not at all my go-to style or something that I really listen to on a regular basis, but it is a great one for testing. In the beginning, we have our lead singer, which is Alison Krauss probably. But as the song moves forward, we introduce progressively more backup singers, starting with 1, then 2, then multiples out there. Basically, why I put this specific one out there is that it highlights the strengths and weaknesses of both of these speakers. When you listen in on the clip, we have separation between the vocalists. Up to a certain point, we can almost count how many people are singing, how many people are recorded on the track at any given time, and there's a distinction between them. With the On, as each singer is introduced, it almost takes away from the previous layer, and they're kind of blended instead of sounding like people singing together and harmonizing. It sounds like they're almost jumbled together. The best way to put this, I feel like, is it sounded like multiple people were trying to sing out of the same mouth, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't know. Anyways, so synopsis. Now, I know it sounds like I was ragging on the On here, calling out all its flaws when comparing, but honestly, this was a compare. So we're gonna go back and forth like that a little bit. I was actually super impressed by the On based on the price standpoint. It did surprisingly well for the money, which again is really difficult for me to say with my kind of hatred for Walmart, but if you ask me if it's worth the $15, I would absolutely say yes. Now, when comparing it to the JBL, is it worth 5 times as much retail or 3 times as much if it's on sale? Personally, I'd buy the clip every time. That's for my uses though, and your uses may be different, but that's your call to make. Bang for buck wise, I would say the On takes the win. Sound quality and performance though, JBL is gonna take it every time. That's my thoughts though, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do any of you guys own both of these that you've done this compare personally? If you own the clip, it'd be about a $15 investment to go try this on your own and tell me what you think. But if you own either of these, leave me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Next episode, we are going to do a side-by-side listening of these with our Here With Me series. Following that, I was super surprised by the results of this test, so I'm gonna take it one step further. I'm gonna go ahead and do a compare with the Flip as well, but we're gonna move away from the Walmart brand and check out a popular Amazon brand, the Ortisan, which I think I'm saying correctly, probably, but maybe not. Anyways, the Ortisan has gotten pretty great reviews and it comes in at a pretty low price point for the specs. I thought about throwing this guy against the Nashville since we did JBL in this series, but from appearance-wise and spec-wise and everything, it looks like they are directly trying to almost imitate the Flip. As such, the Flip compare seemed appropriate. Make sure you're subscribed to get an update as soon as new episodes drop, guys, because these will be dropping weekly here starting soon. So next week we have the compare, we have the Here With Me segment, and following that we're jumping into our next review style format. Now, guys, as promised, the giveaway. Now, I can't remember if I said I would do a giveaway at 250 subscribers or 500 subscribers, but you know what? You guys have been awesome, so let's go ahead and do it now. First off, what are we going to give away? Well, you just watched a video on it. We're going to give away the JBL clip that we've been using on the show. So I still have the box, I still have all the wiring. I'm going to package this, guys, and ship it out to one of you. Now, here's some important stuff, rules of entry and all that. The rules for entry are as follows. First, subscribe to the channel. Easy enough, and a lot of you probably already are. One note to this, though, is make sure your subscriptions are set to public. If we can't see you're subscribed, we can't verify that you qualify for the contest. So make sure your subscriptions are set to public. Second, leave me a comment below to tell me what you would do with your new speaker. Easy enough. You guys gonna take it to the beach? You gonna take it everywhere? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Next, I would love it if you guys would click the channel link and watch any other Audio Inside Scoop episode, preferably one you guys have never seen before, and tell me your thoughts. What you like, what you don't like, what you would want to change, or what you'd want to see in future episodes going forward. This one's not actually required, guys. It's not an actual requirement for the giveaway, but I legitimately love hearing from you guys, so I'm always looking for new ways to improve the channel and new ways to cater it more to you guys' needs. So help me out by telling me what those needs are. Finally, and this one is part of the requirements for the giveaway, shoot an email to audioinsidescoopgiveaway@gmail.com with JBL clip giveaway as your subject and your YouTube handle and your name in the body of the email. Now, the reason for this is it will give me a way to reach you if you win and a way to verify the winner once it's drawn, all at the same time. Also, kind of as a privacy note, all this will be deleted after the giveaway and not given out, sold, used any other way. I just have no interest in any of that at all. I just need a way to reach you if you win and gather your information if you win and confirm that it is you specifically and not a spammer that I'm sending this speaker to. One other side note here as well, that I usually auto-approve all comments on this channel. I will be moderating comments for this specific video, and the reason for that is to assess and get rid of the spammers that ruin these things for everybody. I say this to let you know this. If you refresh and you don't see your comment right away, please be patient with me, guys. I'm individually checking off each individual comment, so I will get to it as soon as I see it pop up, and you'll be approved as soon as it pops up, as long as you're not a spammer, because those will get declined, those will get deleted for sure. I've ran these contests on other channels in the past and it was super obnoxious, so we're handling this a little bit different this time. That's it. Now, all of this is going to be in the video description, so if you missed anything by me talking, you don't have to rewind, you can just check the description. All names will be placed in a random name generator, and I will screen share the drawing to announce the winner on an upcoming episode. Please note, entry closes on June 31st, 2024, so complete those steps before then. Also, one entry per person, guys. Providing multiple entries will immediately disqualify you from the drawing. Also, sorry to you guys outside of the US, but I do have to limit this to the US only. Now, to those of you watching after this contest has already ended, after this drawing has already ended, there are more giveaways coming soon, so make sure you're subscribed and watching for those announcements. Now, this one ended up being super long, so thank you guys for sticking around. Until next time, though, thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon for another episode of Audio Inside Scoop.